So the company Xihn recently came out with some custom LEGO clone troopers, most of them being popular clone commanders. Even though I already made a few of them by combining different clone parts from other figures, I decided to buy these new guys for comparing and contrasting. Now, I've never made an Imperial Cody, so that one wins by default. So instead, I'll be going over Xhinn's versions of Commander Bly, Commander Fox, Commander Thorn, and Captain Vaughn, and compare them with mine. Now, for each of my customs, I usually use the body of a cheaper custom clone from AliExpress, but then I buy the detailed parts from other websites like Clone Army Customs or Cape Cantina. So that means I spent $1.50 for the body, $4 for the soft goods, and $6 for both helmet and helmet accessories, like the visor or the macro binoculars. So that's like an average of $11.50 per custom clone that I made, versus the $1.50 for these newer ones. It'll be up to you personally on whether it's worth to make the clone look really good, or just passable and save some monies. So starting off here, we have the two Blys next to each other. I made mine with an older knockoff body, the pauldron and camera from Cape Cantina, and the helmet and macro binoculars from Clone Army Customs. Come to think of it, I get all of my named clone helmets from Clone Army Customs anyway, so pardon the repetition. Well, in fact, we're looking at the helmets, and as you can see, the Clone Army Custom one is obviously of a higher quality, especially with the detailed macros. Xhinn's helmet is stretched and not as detailed. You also can't pose the figure with the macros down, or at least not in a good looking way. Torso from the older clone has a darker orange and brown in the center, which is accurate. Yet, the Xhinn's arms are better detailed, in that the pouches aren't squashed by the big, dark black line, while the color isn't as apparent as in mine. While the color is more vibrant in the legs in the older one, the newer one is actually more accurate, with not having the yellow on the shin part. As far as the soft goods are concerned, what comes with the new figure is completely fine. In some ways, the solid pauldron is better because you don't have to fold it with a separate piece, like the Cape Cantina ones. You get the detail of the ammo strap on the chest piece regardless. By the way, there is a really cool video by Mayday Figs about how to get your pauldrons to be folded perfectly. I will link that in the description. But the one from Cape Cantina is more accurate though, and offers more detail, especially with the straps under the belt. And here we are with Commander Fox. Like with Bly, I got Fox's body from an older custom clone, and got the helmet and visor from Clone Army Custom, as well as the camo. And looking at the helmets, we see two things. One, the color on the newer one is faded, like the white is faint on what I assume is a red helmet. The Clone Army Custom helmet has the white contrasting better against the red. But the visor on the newer one is actually more accurate and detailed compared to the one I got with the Clone Army Custom helmet. Look at the torso and the arms. The one that I had has finer detail on the shoulders versus the new one. But more interesting is the gray lining on the torso of the newer one, which is incorrect. I wonder why they added that design when it isn't on any other reference of the Phase 2 Fox. When it comes to the legs, my original figure has finer details on the legs versus the newer figure, but I will say that the newer one's crotch area lines up better than mine. Yes sir, LEGO crotch alignment. But looking at the soft goods, the newer fig's camo is softer and thus doesn't bend as weirdly as the one sold by Clone Army Customs. So really, I prefer the newer figure when it comes to things below the belt. And here we have the two Commander Thorns. Again, I got the body from a AliExpress clone, but the helmet and visor and camo came from, you guessed it, Clone Army Customs. Just like with Fox. Only I got his minigun from a spare LEGO hard case, which I also got from AliExpress. Looking at the helmets, the newer one won't have the same finer detail as the Clone Army Custom one, albeit better use of colors than with the Fox one. Although this guy's mouth is wide. If not for that part, and with some of the white lines on the bottom of the helmet, it's damn close to perfect. And again, like Fox, the helmet's visor thing is better than what I originally had. This newer torso has the same weird issue as Fox, where there is gray detailing where there shouldn't be. Maybe it's to emphasize the torso's shape? I don't know. However, there's no side detail on mine, which I just noticed while editing this. When you compare it to the new, it's very uncanny. Like there's nothing, it's just plain white, as you can see. Of course, more times than not, this thing will be displayed with the arms down. So, does it really matter? Up to you. But speaking of arms, the red striping is a bit blotchy compared to my original one. But that, I think, is really such a nitpick. The back of the new minifigure has more red detailing, which I believe is more accurate. And yeah, the newer one's legs are actually better because from the knee down, it's all red. It doesn't stop awkwardly like in my older one, so that is indeed a plus. And once again, the new figure's camo is softer, and by default better than Clone Army Customs. Hell, even the coloring is richer. As a matter of fact, by default, you should never go to Clone Army Customs for the soft goods if you can avoid it. They just feel harder and, like I said, more difficult to bend. Always go to the Cape Cantina or be lucky if you can get a nice soft camo from these AliExpress figures. Last but not least, we have our boy, Captain Vaughn. Behold, the newer Xihn figure is completely better than my custom in pretty much every way. Disclaimer though, this new figure does come with a blue pauldron piece, which I did not include because he never had one in the show. It was basically a 501st or 322nd version, I guess, of Commander Cody. My custom was used from a crappy 322nd clone with a god-awful helmet, which I didn't need because I would just be getting the helmet and visor and jetpack from, you wouldn't believe it, Clone Army Customs. In fact, looking at the helmet, I actually prefer this newer helmet than that of Clone Army Customs. Yes, the orange might be a little too vibrant, but it matches well with my other 322nd clones. While the visor is from Clone Army Customs is that of a finer detail, the antenna thing in the back is bent for whatever reason. It just came that way. So the newer one fits the figure better. And now when it comes to the chest piece, I didn't learn this until making this video, but Vaughn's abdominal part of the armor is actually gray, not default white. For my custom, I had to cut out a tiny little paper rectangle to replicate his little chest ranking insignia thing that he has in the show. The newer one doesn't require such ghetto tactics, because it comes with it. Also, the arms and sides have no detail in mine. Nothing. Plain Jane. Just like Thorn. Hell, even with the newer figure, the back actually has a jetpack printed onto it. And also with the legs, the newer one is just the better version. I'm now realizing how horrible my custom turned out to be, SMH. So what I ended up doing was doing a little mix and match to make the best version of both figures for each clone commander. The best of both worlds, if you will. Just some minor switches of leg pieces and chest pieces. You'll notice that, despite my criticisms, I actually ended up keeping the Clone Army Customs helmet for Vaughn. And this was due to the fact that if I used that helmet for a regular 322nd clone, it wouldn't work. The orange doesn't match with my others, and it just stands out. I'd rather have it stand out as Vaughn instead of a rando clone. But worry not, for the other helmet and body, I made an entire new 322nd clone that fits right in with the rest of my squad. When I set out to do this video, I thought I was going to be all smug, like, yeah, look at what these cheap-ass companies are making compared to something I made. But after considering pricing, and with pretty decent level of detail shown here, you really could just buy these figs from Xihn and be good to go. I went the extra mile before because A, these characters weren't made yet for AliExpress, or B, they were, and the detail was very lacking. Of course, now I'm thinking that even if my customs were miles better, great, I spent almost $12 to make a better looking small bit of plastic. Either way, I don't look good here. But at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. If you want to only spend $1.50, get these newer minifigures, it'll be great. If you want to pad print or decal these figs and buy all the necessary helmets and accessories, and have no issue with blowing some dough, do that by all means. I just go the halfway point. Get the important details like the helmets down, while not worrying too much about the chest and leg pieces. Do what you gotta do. I will say though, LEGO is actually making a Vaughn in the new LEGO 322nd Clone Battle Pack set thing. And I'm pretty sure that a Phase 2 Fox is likely to come, probably with a New Republic gunship.
Bruh. Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What?
But thank you for joining me on this weird and esoteric video of a grown-ass man talking about how to make custom LEGO clone troopers. I see this is a topic you guys are somewhat interested in, and if you'd want, I can make more videos about LEGO-related stuff. Please let me know. I want to please you guys. Other than that, have a great and fantastic and beautiful day.